you saw him film with him, you have no track on that. Now that you've seen him practice, has he reaffirmed some of the things you thought about him? Is he better than you thought? What's your opinion?
Yeah, I think Bryce is doing a really good job. I mean, I think he's getting his feet back under him right mid-spring and a little rusty in some areas, but you see flashes of the same things that you saw on film. Tracking the ball, making some contested catches. He had a big one down there at the end of practice there. He's made some down the sideline catches. So really excited about his trajectory, and we'll keep bringing him along.
Are there specific examples that come to mind about how those top six are pushing each other? Certain things you maybe see behind the scenes?
Man, it's competitive, man. It's every single day, right? Like, one guy has a great day, the first day, and then another guy's the next day, and it's kind of back and forth, which is exactly what you want to see, right? I tell those guys, I make the depth chart day one, they make it from there on. And so the guys have been extremely positive about it, uplifting one another, competing with one another. And, it's fun. It's fun to watch it unfold that way. Those guys are unselfish, and that's the best thing about the group. Yeah, it was good to. It's very blessed to have that opportunity, man. It was a great opportunity. Got to go up there, spend some time, get back around the NFL game a little bit, and the best thing about it was sitting in the meeting rooms, and they have a very young wide receiver room there, obviously, and kind of bringing some of that stuff back as far as expectations. What are the expectations of those guys, and being able to relay that back to our guys, and then obviously just the opportunity to learn football. And so, anytime you get chances to get around extremely smart minds like those guys up there, man, you take advantage of them, and then you sit around, you learn, and you bring back things to your guys to help prepare them for when their opportunity comes.
I think Skyler and Will complement each other there in the slot?
I think it's a great compliment. I think it's a really, really good compliment. Both of those guys are elevating their game. I think they're pushing each other to get better. And every single day, they're seeming more and more comfortable. Slot was a little bit new for Skyler because he was an outside guy last year. He was a little uncomfortable with it in the spring, and I actually just had a conversation with him yesterday, and he's like, man, I feel so much better. He's playing faster, and so I think having Will there is helping him. And like I said, man, it's just fun to watch him every single day.
What is the biggest adjustment for Will? You've been playing outside of him, like, just for that?
I'll speak for myself from personal experience, but it's just more people around, right? Like if I'm an outside receiver, I'm more on an island. It's me in the corner. Whereas now, if I'm in the slot, I got linebackers, safeties, and a lot of more moving parts, but I also have a lot more space. So.
What kind of conversations have you had with the top two groups about how you're going to provide reps? I mean, is the expectation it's split? Is the way they've been rolling through? Sometimes it's just 3 in, 3 out.
Yeah, right now we're splitting it and trying to keep it pretty even, trying to keep guys fresh, and then also just giving Tanner a chance to work with all 6 of those guys. And so we'll roll those guys through as much as possible, and then we'll get into some play at situations where the true ones may be out there a little bit longer. But that's the point we would love to get to. If we feel really good about that week 1, then great. That means that we got some really good competition in the room, and we're able to roll through 6 guys. If it's 5 guys, it's 5 guys. If it's 4 guys, it's 4 guys. And so we'll see how it plays out over the next however many practices it is, and keep pushing.
Mike, what did you know about the history of the wide receiver position here at Wisconsin before you came here, and how do you kind of view it now as you've gotten immersed here?
I did not know much about it. I played with Lee Evans a little bit, and so I knew him. But other than him, obviously the tunes and things like that. But I did not know a lot about it. I didn't know a lot about the current room. But I have been very, very pleased, man, just, with those guys. I think there was they're a little bit underrated, underappreciated, I think. And I say that more from the outside looking in, more so than inside looking out, right? So I'm really excited, man. It's a great group of young guys that are really, really hungry and really, really competitive and really unselfish. So I couldn't be happier with the group right now.
Is this the type of talent that you think can be kind of eye-opening for people who are just used to seeing what Wisconsin has seen in the past?
Time will tell, man. I hope so, right? But we're on practice 7, and it's a long season, and we got a really, really good schedule, and so we'll just keep taking it one day at a time, continuing to build, and we'll see how it all plays out.
Maybe you have a lot of different guys that can fill this role, but for you personally, is having a number 1 receiver important to you in terms of a guy that, okay, this is who the offense is going to look to when we're in trouble, and we've got to make the change.
Yeah, I think that is important, right? You got a guy who really wants it, a guy that shows himself as a playmaker. When will that show itself? I don't know. Maybe it's next week, right? Maybe it's week 1, maybe it's week 3 by the time we figure it out. You know, hopefully we got enough guys that are elevating their game when we feel good about more than one guy. But you definitely, you know, it's definitely one of those things in the back of your mind, like, hey, man, I'm sure as a play caller, probably more of a Coach Longo question, but, you know, who am I going to get the ball to right here on 3rd down? Who's going to make a play, right? And all that is just who's been the most consistent, consistently making the plays that come their way.
Who are those guys that are pushing for that?
I mean, I think it's too early to say right now. I think, like I said, man, these guys have all had really, really good days. Will has made a lot of plays. Skylar's made a lot of plays. Chim's made a lot of plays. You know, Bryson Green, CJ, they've all made some plays. And so I think it would be a little bit premature for me right now to say, maybe even a little unfair for me to say right now, but we'll keep sorting through it and iron out.
Associate coaching is on title too. What do you do that role? What do you, where your career's at? What get something like that?
It's great, man. It's an unbelievable honor, and very, very thankful for it. You know, and it's just, you know, I think as assistant coaches, our jobs are always to, you know, make the head coach's job easier, right, and help take things off of his desk. And so whatever it is that he asked me to do, whatever it is that he needs us to do, as a staff, we're there, right, regardless of title. You know, I don't say that to demean the title or anything, but I think that's always our job, whether you have that title or not. And so keep things off of his desk. They don't need to make it to his desk. And, he's got enough things to deal with, and our job is to make his job a lot easier.
Mike, let's say now that you've had a few months now within coaching in Phil Longo's system, just how different is it coaching the wide receivers within what Phil expects out of the group compared to other schemes you've worked with?
Yeah, it's a lot different, man. It's a lot more freedom for our wide receivers and things like that, and I really like it, you know. And it's a challenge, right? Because, you know, we say it all the time. It takes more discipline to have freedom, and so that's been an adjustment for me, and it's been an adjustment for all of our guys. And, you know, we're all kind of learning it together, working through it together, and I think it's beginning to come together. So.
How do you try to teach that freedom? Because is it just reading defenses as play goes, or like how do you try to install that when you're in the meeting room or walkthroughs?
Well, that's kind of a secret. You know, I can't give you all the juice. You know what I mean? But you know, you give them parameters. You do give them parameters, and I think they just have to understand the larger scheme of things to be able to adjust on the fly.
Let's say you talked about potentially top 6, but just is there a number right now that you're hoping for? I mean, everyone wants every receiver to be game ready, but is there a number that you want to be comfortable with once the season opener rolls around?
Yeah, to me, 6 is that number that I would love to get to, right? If I feel really, really good about 6, I feel great because now we're too deep at every spot, right? If we're in just 11, we're talking 11 personnel, right? And so that's why I always say that number, 6, 6, 6. Now, if it ends up being 5, it ends up being 5, right? If it ends up being 4, it ends up being 4, right? And we'll adjust the reps accordingly. But the ideal number is 6. And then hopefully the group makes it to the point where I'm trying to figure 6 out of the top 8, you know what I mean? And so, but I think it's hard. It is tough to play more than 6. But, you know, 6 is kind of that sweet spot that you love to have. What are we on, practice 7? I think I'm 6-1 in that sprint right there. Just ask Chim. Ask Chim if you guys get him over here. I beat him every day, but today he got me. I slipped a little bit in the rain, but no excuses, you know what I mean? So, no, it's just getting them going, man, and having fun, and also trying to keep myself loose when I get stiff and all that good stuff. It's just fun to get started and kind of push those guys in any way I can.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks,
Appreciate your time.
Appreciate it.